How does someone find their voice, their purpose, their freedom, even when everything seems stacked against them? That's really the core question we're exploring today in this deep dive. We're looking at the incredible life of Hazrat Bilal R.A, often known as Bilal the Abyssinian. We've gathered quite a bit biographical stories, historical accounts that give us a glimpse into his journey. And our aim here is really to pull out the deepest insights from all this, to understand how one man's, unwavering faith and sheer resilience made such a huge mark on history, and maybe what that means for us today.
Yeah, and what's so striking about Bilal's story, I think, is that it's not just about historical facts, dates, and events. It really speaks volumes about the human spirit, its ability to stay firm, to find liberation. But what's really fascinating is seeing how his own personal struggles,
Yeah.
they weren't just his, they actually became these sort of foundational moments for the whole community that was forming around him.
Foundational moments for an entire community. That's a big statement. Okay, so let's unpack that. Where does his story begin? The sources we have, they paint a pretty tough picture of his early life, right? Born into slavery in Mecca.
That's right, specifically under a man named Umayyah ibn Khalaf. And yeah, it was harsh. Think about it. No personal freedom. Your life completely controlled by someone else.
Utterly oppressive conditions, as you say.
Exactly. But despite all that, what comes through again and again in the accounts is that Bilal's spirit, it just wasn't broken.
Which makes you wonder, doesn't it, what gave him that strength in that kind of situation?
Well, the sources suggest he found something profound, a kind of solace, really, in the teachings of Islam that were just starting to emerge then. His commitment, this steadfast belief in one God, in Allah, that became his anchor, his guiding light, you could say, through some incredibly dark times.
And that commitment, his conversion, that's where things get really intense, isn't it? It wasn't just a quiet personal belief. His owner, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, saw it as a threat.
A direct threat, absolutely. And the reaction was brutal. The sources describe, unimaginable torture inflicted upon Bilal.
Can you tell us a bit more about that? What exactly did the sources say he went through? And crucially, what was his response during these trials?
The details are frankly chilling. Being tied up, dragged out into the scorching desert sun. Sometimes heavy rocks were placed on his chest, making it almost impossible to breathe.
Wow.
Yeah. But right in the middle of all that agony, the accounts say his voice rang out with just one phrase, repeated over and over. Ahad, Ahad.
One.
Exactly. Signifying the absolute oneness of Allah. It was this incredibly powerful, unwavering proclamation, even under torture. It just showed the sheer depth of his conviction. It wasn't just belief, it was absolute certainty defying the pain.
That kind of resilience, it's almost unbelievable. And it didn't go unnoticed, did it? It wasn't just a private struggle.
No, not at all. His steadfastness, his suffering, it definitely caught the attention of key figures in the early Muslim community.
Including Abu Bakr, right? A close companion of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Precisely. Abu Bakr was deeply moved by what he saw Bilal's faith, his endurance, but also just the sheer injustice of it all. And driven by compassion and, the core Islamic values of justice and freeing the oppressed, Abu Bakr took a really significant step.
He bought Bilal's freedom.
He did. He purchased Bilal's freedom from Umayyah, and this marked a huge turning point, a completely new chapter for Bilal.
And it was more than just like a transaction, wasn't it? There was a deeper meaning there.
Oh, absolutely. It went way beyond just the physical release from chains. It really symbolized the emancipation of his soul, his spirit, from that crushing weight of oppression.
So freedom, what happened next? How was he received by the community?
He was immediately welcomed, embraced by the Islamic Brotherhood. He became a respected, integral part of the growing Muslim community there in Mecca. And that moment, it really underscores how that early community operated, supporting its members, integrating them fully, regardless of their past status like slavery. It was about piety and character.
It showed those egalitarian principles in action.
Exactly. Bilal's story became a living example of that.
Okay, so he's free, he's part of the community, which leads us to maybe his most famous role. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, recognized something special in Bilal, not just his faith, but his voice.
Yes, his voice. The sources describe it as powerful, resonant, beautiful, melodious, and the prophet saw this unique quality.
And appointed him to a very specific, very public role.
The very first muezzin, the person intended to call the believers to prayer, the adhan.
That's incredible, from slave to the voice, calling the faithful.
It is. His call to prayer, that resonant sound, it became one of the defining features of early Islamic worship. It captured hearts, drew people closer to Allah. And if you think about the bigger picture here, It's amazing how this unique personal talent was woven right into the fabric of the faith's core practices.
It sends a powerful message too, doesn't it, about what truly matters.
Absolutely. It showed that value was based on piety, on character, on devotion, not on social standing or origin.
But his contributions didn't stop there. The sources mention his involvement in some really key historical moments too, like the Hijra, the migration to Medina.
Yes, the Hijra, a absolutely pivotal moment. Islam was facing growing hostility in Mecca, so Prophet Muhammad and his companions migrated to Medina. Bilal was part of that journey.
And that migration, it wasn't just moving house, was it?
Oh no, far from it. It marked a massive turning point. It allowed for the establishment of the first real Islamic community state in Medina. It was the foundation for a new society. And Bilal's presence there, as this respected figure who had been enslaved, it powerfully reinforced those principles of equality and brotherhood within the Ummah, the community. It really boosted unity and strength during a very vulnerable time.
And the other major event mentioned is the Battle of Badr.
Right, the Battle of Badr, a very significant early battle for the Muslims. Bilal participated actively.
What do the sources say about his role there?
They highlight his courage on the battlefield. It wasn't just about showing up. His actions reflected his deep commitment to defending the community and the principles of Islam. And that victory at Badr, it was crucial. It massively boosted the morale and faith of the early Muslims and was a key step in establishing Islam in the region. Bilal was part of that collective strength and resilience.
So his impact was felt across different spheres, spiritual, communal, even military. Bringing the story towards its conclusion, after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, passed away, Bilal's service continued.
Yes, he continued to serve the Muslim community. He lived to see Islam expand significantly.
And his legacy, how should we understand his lasting influence?
I think his legacy is just immense, his life story. I mean, going from the absolute depths of slavery to the revered position of being the Prophet's muezzin, it's become this enduring symbol, a symbol of faith triumphing over adversity, of resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship. What's really compelling is how his journey constantly reinforces that message. True dignity, true leadership, it comes from your character, your devotion. His life left an indelible mark, shaping the very ethos of Islam for generations.
It's an incredibly powerful story. So thinking about this deep dive, what does Bilal's journey mean for you listening right now? For me, it's a stark reminder of the enduring power of faith, yes, but also the relentless pursuit of justice. It shows that real strength, true strength, often comes from that unwavering conviction, even when the odds seem completely impossible.
And that really makes you think, doesn't it? It poses a question for each of us, I believe. In your own life, what principles are so fundamental, so dear to you that you'd stand firm for them no matter what challenges arise? Maybe consider how one person's steadfastness, their own aha moment, however small it might seem, can actually echo through time, how it can shape communities, inspire others long after they're gone. That's quite something to mull over.